morning, folks. My name is Troy Sylte with Kelly Wright Real Estate of Idaho and GoTroy.com. Today we're driving about 20 minutes north of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we're going to take a look at what I consider a blue ribbon real estate opportunity. It's 92 acres. It's got 2 year-round streams. It's got a year-round spring, diverse timber and wildlife. But not everybody has time to spend 2 or 3 hours with a realtor. So today I hope you enjoy this, and it's my pleasure to take you out and show you what I think is one of the best opportunities available right now in North Idaho. I remember coming out here 35 years ago with my father and doing some hunting and hiking out here. This was a pond. You'll see all this, but we'll go ahead and park and look forward to showing it to you. Always put gates back like you find them. For 30 years, a couple gentlemen have been running a lot of cattle out here. This has been leased cattle land. When I was little, this is a big pond. There's a natural eutrophism, or I think that's a word, of these ponds filling in, but I think a guy could dig this back out and put some trout or some different fish in here, and this would be real nice. But look at these cattails, and on the other side of this, there's still a lot of standing water. This is where the original home site is. I want to say it was pre-40s in here. I could have to look at the deeds to make sure, but we'll walk up here and show you where the original old homestead is, and it's just beautiful here. Here we are kind of at the end. Behind here is all Stimson land. There's hundreds and hundreds of acres of Stimson Timber Company land. We do have an easement on this road that we can share and go in. There's 2 different ways to go into what I think is one of my favorite building sites. You could either come in here or up there. This 92 acres is 2 parcels, so there is also a 20-acre parcel here that we're offering for sale separately. We're going to walk on in here and show you where it would be a great place to build a house. When we're out here, we'll use technology. I use 3 or 4 different programs. This is one that has a topographical overlay. It shows where we're at here, and it's moving. It shows it's where there's a pond and there's a year-round stream that comes in here. There's actually another stream that's not showing up on this. It's right here. But from this, I can mark waypoints, and I can show our current location, and we can come back and get this later on from our office. This would make a fantastic driveway coming in here. You have beautiful cedar trees, some big birches, and this comes right on into where I would build on the upper 20. This could also be carved up. You could have 2 different families that know each other living here. You could do a simple lot line adjustment too and make this a 40 and whatever, or a 30 and whatever, but look at this approach coming home. We are at what I call the upper 20 best building site, and you could also just do a very short 40-yard driveway and be right here. You could have a shop up over there, but how about these fall colors? Right down here in this corner is where the year-round creek comes out. This is all sub-irrigated. It's beautifully just green pasture land, and these trees here off to your left are on the property too. This is one of my favorite spots on the property. Even after coming out of one of the driest times of the year, here we are the 1st of October. Creek is still going good. Again, this property has 2 creeks, but lots of wildlife likes to come down here. Here you can see the fence line with quality treated posts. If some folks want to build a place in more of a treed setting, this would be one of the places I'd recommend. 92-acre parcels like this, if you could roll the clock back 30, 40 years and your family was lucky enough to live here before North Idaho was popular, this is the kind of place that you would pick if you had all the money in the world and you had your choice to pick of any place in North Idaho. This is the kind of property you'd want. We all grew up watching Bonanza and John Wayne and our favorite westerns, and so often if you're a horse person or a cattle person and you want to have 30, 40, 50 head of cows or 10 horses, the land just doesn't produce that much. On this property here, it's all sub-irrigated. This is chest-high grass for most of the year. We're getting a little wet here today, but I wanted to stop here at this point. This is about the middle of the property. From the back side of these trees, this is where we parked up over here where that Stimson gate goes in. On the back of these trees is where I call that hidden 20. And then this whole expansive field, the creek comes down through here. Right up here, there's another creek that comes in, and these trees here kind of mark where the second year-round creek. And then on the backside of all these trees here, that's the Stimson Lumber Company, which you can get some recreational usage out of. Back as far as you can see, that would be one of the original owners of this property. Not the original owners. 100 years ago, there's an old homestead down here in a barn, and this was one of the best alfalfa fields around. This is inside the old homestead, and I think where you're standing might have been the old, I don't know, fireplace, or maybe where they had a furnace. I don't really know. Inside the old foundation, 100 years old. The property goes on the other side of this fence here too. This was just put here for cattle, and it kind of goes up that way through those cedar trees. Here's the old barn and corral. Now, if a person didn't want this here, we could have it removed. For me personally, it's a great piece of Americana. I love to see it. I remember it from when I was a kid. At the very least, I'd recommend taking a few boards and making some picture frames and a mantle out of it for your new house. But that could be gone or not, but I like to look at it. Look at these foundations. These aren't exactly hand hewn. They're not square nails, but they're very old, and they probably had a sawmill on site. These old pioneers would just build this stuff with what they had. But I love this old barn. This is the south, kind of west corner of the property. Looking north and east over that mountain is the Lake Pend Oreille drainage, but this is probably the choice building spot on the first parcel. You're surrounded by the lumber company on two different sides, but just take a look at this if this was your front yard. And again, the property line is kind of that tree line there. It does go into those trees a little bit. Down over here, it does push back into that timber there. Look at these tamaracks, or otherwise known the larches, are starting to change colors. And there's where we parked down there by the old homestead and the barn. And that's all a county maintained road right there. I'll also point out that we're just a few short miles from Highway 95. We're halfway to Sandpoint, halfway to Coeur d'Alene. Some people spend their whole life in town wishing they could get to a place like this, but for an extra 10 minutes, you could call this home every day. Well, that completes our showing here of this 92 acres just north of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I hope you enjoyed it. It was my pleasure to show it to you. You can find other videos like this on gotroy.com. And if you're a seller thinking about selling your property, or if you're a buyer and you want to get out and see this property, I'd love to show it to you. I hope you like it. I hope it meets your family's needs. But I can show you a lot of different neat spots in North Idaho. Have a great day.